You know, it's funny how most of us think about drinking water before bed as the healthy thing to do, but then after 60 we start to realize it's not always the best idea. Because the same glass of plain water that feels refreshing can end up sending us to the bathroom at 2 or 3 in the morning, breaking up our sleep and making it hard to fall back asleep. And what's worse is that plain water doesn't give your body any of the nutrients or signals, so it actually needs to wind down for the nights. Or instead of just focusing on drinking something, we can start thinking about drinking the right thing, something that hydrates you gently without overfilling your bladder, and that actually helps your body get into rest mode tonight. I want to share 10 drinks you can have instead of plain water in the evening. Each one is simple, easy to prepare, and specifically chosen to support better sleep. Especially if you're over 60 and the first one is something that has been used for centuries in traditional medicine, but also has solid modern science behind it: golden milk with black pepper. Now, golden milk is basically warm milk infused with turmeric and a touch of black pepper. Its rich golden color is beautiful, but what really matters is what's inside. Turmeric contains an active compound called curcumin, and curcumin has been studied for its ability to reduce inflammation, regulate stress hormones, and even improve mood. In fact, one of the reasons people have trouble sleeping is because their cortisol levels, the stress hormone, are too high at night, and curcumin can help bring those levels down so your body feels safe to relax. But there's the catch: curcumin on its own isn't absorbed well by the body, and that's where black pepper comes in. Black pepper contains piperin, a natural compound that boosts the absorption of curcumin by up to 7 or 8 times. So by adding just a pinch of black pepper to your golden milk, you're making sure your body actually gets the benefit. Now, let's talk about the milk part. Warm milk isn't just a comforting bedtime tradition. It contains tryptophan, which your body uses to make serotonin and melatonin, the hormones that regulate your sleep cycle. The warmth of the drink also has a physical calming effect, helping your muscles relax and signaling to your nervous system that it's time to slow down. Here's how to make it in a way that's both tasty and effective. Pour about a cube of milk into a small saucepan. You can use dairy milk or plant-based milk like almond or oat milk. Just make sure it's unsweetened. Add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder and a small pinch of freshly ground black pepper. Stir it well and heat it over low to medium heat until it's warm but not boiling. If you want, you can also add a small pinch of cinnamon or ginger powder for extra flavor and health benefits. Once it's warmed through, reach into your favorite mug and sip it slowly about an hour before bed. I know someone in her late 60s who started drinking golden milk 3 nights a week, and she told me that not only was she sleeping more soundly, but she also noticed less stiffness in her joints in the mornings, which makes sense because curcumin's anti-inflammatory effects can help with joint comfort over time. The key with this drink is consistency. You don't have to have it every night, but making it a regular part of your week gives your body a repeated signal that bedtime is coming, and it's tea. Meta switch into rest mode, and unlike plain water, which can cool your core temperature and make your bladder fill too quickly, golden milk warms you from the inside, helps regulate your hormones, and gives you the building blocks for deep sleep. So tonight, if you've got some turmeric and milk in your kitchen, why not give it a try? It's simple, it's soothing, and it might just become the drink you look forward to most at the end of your day. Alright, let's move into the second drink you can have instead of plain water at night. And this one might surprise you because most people think of it as a summertime refreshment, not a bedtime drink. I'm talking about diluted warm coconut water now. When I say coconut water, a lot of people picture it's straight from the fridge, ice cold, maybe with condensation on the bottle. But that's not what we're going for here. Cold drinks at night can actually be too stimulating for your system. They can cool your core temperature too much, and sometimes even make digestion harder. Right before sleep, what we want, something warm enough to be comforting, but light enough that it doesn't overload your bladder or keep you coconut water when it's fresh and properly diluted. It's an amazing source of natural electrolytes. It contains potassium, magnesium, and a little bit of sodium, in just the right balance to help relax your muscles, steady your heartbeat, and support the nerves that control your sleep cycle. Potassium in particular plays a role in helping your blood vessels relax, which improves circulation and can make it easier to fall asleep. Magnesium helps calm the nervous system and reduce nighttime cramping, and the gentle sodium helps keep fluid balance without pulling you into the bathroom as quickly as plain water might. Now, the reason we dilute it is because coconut water in its pure form is still a little concentrated for nighttime drinking, and for some people it can be too sweet or too much volume for the bladders. So here's what you do. Take about half a cup of fresh coconut water and mix it with half a cup of warm water. The warmth makes it more soothing for your body, and the dilution ensures you're jetting those minerals without overloading your system. You can even add a thin slice of fresh ginger to the warm water before mixing, if you want a gentle warming spice and a little digestive support. I know one man in his early 70s who used to wake up 2 or 3 times a night, and after he started replacing his evening glass of plain water with diluted warm coconut water, he told me he was sleeping longer stretches without waking up, and his legs didn't cramp at night like they used to. And that's the beauty of this drink. It's not the Avi, it's not gonna spike you. Our blood sugar butyric gives your body exactly what it needs to stay in a relaxed state through the night. A couple of things to keep in mind: if you have kidney disease or need to limit your potassium intake, talk to your doctor before making this a regular habit, and always choose pure coconut water without added sugar or flavors, ideally from a fresh young coconut if you can get it. Or if you've only thought of coconut water as a daytime drink, try it this way, warm and diluted in the evening. You might just find it helps you slip into a deeper, calmer sleep without those middle off the night wake-ups that can make you feel like you never rested at all. Alright, let's move into the third drink you can have instead of plain water at night, and this one is probably the most famous bedtime beverage in the world, but a lot of people don't actually know why it works. I'm talking about chamomile tea. Now, chamomile has been used for centuries as a calming remedy, but modern science has actually given you a clear picture of what's going on inside your body when you drink it. Chamomile contains a compound called epigenin, which is a type of flavonoid that binds to specific receptors in your brain. The GABA receptors, these are the same receptors that are responsible for slowing down nerve activity, lowering anxiety, and preparing your brain for sleep. When epigenin binds to them, it essentially turns down the volume on the mental chatter in your head, eases your heart rate, and helps your whole system shift into a state of rest. Now, here's where a lot of people make a mistake. They brew it too quickly or too weakly. If you just dunk a bag in hot water for a minute or two, you're not getting much of that epigenin out of the flowers. The better way is to steep your chamomile tea for at least 5 to 7 minutes in water that's just off the boil. This longer steep time lets the beneficial compounds fully infuse into the water and gives you the richer aroma that can itself be part of the relaxation process. And speaking of aroma, there's another reason chamomile works. Your sense of smell is directly connected to the limbic system in your brain, which controls emotions and sleep cycles. Breathing in the gentle apple-like scent of chamomile while you sip it can help reinforce the calming effect. If you want to boost it even more, you can blend chamomile with TTL lavender or lemon balm for a layered calming effect. I remember talking to a woman in her late 60s who had been waking up 3 or 4 times a night. She started brewing a stronger cup of chamomile tea in the evening, about an hour before bed, and making it part of a wind-down ritual where she'd turn off the TV, dim the lights, and just sit quietly with her tea. She told me that within a week she was sleeping longer stretches, and even when she did wake up, it was easier to drift back to sleep. Chamomile is naturally caffeine-free, so it's safe for nighttime, and it's gentle Not for most people, though. If you have allergies to plants in the daisy family, you might want to skip it. Also, try not to load it up with sugar, since that can work against the blood sugar stability you want for the nights. So if you've been thinking chamomile tea is just an old folk remedy, know that it's actually working on a chemical level to prepare your brain for rest. If you make it strong enough and pair it with a calming environment, you might find it's one of the simplest, most effective changes you can make for deeper sleep. Alright, let's move into the fourth drink you can have instead of plain water at night, and this one is especially good if you either can't tolerate it airy or just prefer a lighter plant-based option. It's warm unsweetened almond milk. Now, almond milk has become pretty popular in recent years as a dairy alternative, but when you heat it up gently and drink it in the evening, it can become a powerful sleep support. Especially if you choose the right kind and use it the right way. One of the key reasons almond milk works is because it's naturally rich in magnesium, and magnesium is often called the relaxation mineral for good reason. It helps regulate nerve function, ease muscle tension, and even calm the part of your nervous system that stays in overdrive when you're stressed out. Low magnesium levels are actually linked to poor sleep quality and more frequent nighttime waking, so getting a little boost in the evening can make a real difference. Almond milk also contains tryptophan, the amino acid your body converts into serotonin, and then melatonin, which sets the timing for your sleep cycle. But here's the important part. Not all almond milk is created equal. If you want the sleep benefits, you need to choose one that's unsweetened and preferably fortified with calcium and vitamin D. The calcium actually helps your brain use the tryptophan more efficiently, and vitamin D plays a role in regulating circadian rhythms. Keep the flavored versions with vanilla or chocolate and added sugar, because sugar right before bed can spike your blood glucose and cause it to crash later in the night, potentially waking you up. Now let's talk about preparation. You don't want to just drink it cold from the fridge, because your body responds much better to something warm and soothing. For bed, pour about a cube into a small saucepan, heat it gently over low to medium heat until it's warm but not boiling. And if you like, you can add a pinch of cinnamon. Cinnamon not only adds a cozy aroma but also supports stable blood sugar levels, which is another plus for uninterrupted sleep. I know a gentleman in his early 70s who replaced his nightly habit of drinking a glass of cold water before bed with a mug of warm almond milk. He told me that not only was she sleeping more soundly, but he was waking up feeling less stiff in the morning. She also found that the simple act of taking 10 quiet minutes to heat the milk and sit with it became a kind of signal to his body that it was time to shut down for the day. That's something a lot of people miss. It's not just what you drink, but how you drink it. When you slow down and make it a little ritual, your brain learns to associate that moment with rest over times. So if you want something light, easy to digest, and genuinely beneficial for your sleep, try swapping your late-night water or other beverages for a cup of warm, unsweetened almond milk. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, and let your body start linking that soothing flavor and warmth with the promise of a deep, peaceful night's sleep. Alright, let's move into the fifth drink you can have instead of plain water at night. And this one is refreshing in its own unique way while still being incredibly calming. It's warm peppermint tea. Now, a lot of people hear peppermint and immediately think of something cold and brisk, maybe a candy cane or a chilled tea. But when you steep peppermint leaves in hot water and sip it warm before bed, it transforms into something soothing and grounding. Peppermint contains natural compounds like menthol that help relax smooth muscles throughout your body. This includes the muscles in your digestive tract, which can be a game changer. If you're someone who sometimes lies down at night feeling bloated, gas, you're just generally uncomfortable, because that discomfort is one of the easiest ways to ruin a night of sleep. Menthol also has a mild analgesic effect, meaning it can help ease migraines and pains, which is another plus for settling into bed more comfortably. One thing I love about peppermint tea is how it works both physically and mentally. The warmth of the tea relaxes your body, while the aroma of peppermint works on you. The scent alone has been shown in some studies to help reduce fatigue and tension and even improve mood. And while peppermint tea doesn't directly make you sleepy like something with melatonin, it creates the conditions that make sleep much easier to come by. Let's talk about how to prepare it for the best effect. You can use fresh peppermint leaves. If you have them, just rinse a handful and bruise them lightly with your fingers. Release the oils, then steep them in hot water for about 5 minutes. If you're using dried peppermint or tea bags, the same. Steep time works, but don't leave it too long, because oversteeping can make the flavor bittery. You want a clean, smooth, minty taste that feels light and comforting. I know a woman in her late 60s who always struggled with that heavy, uncomfortable feeling after dinner, and she used to drink plain water at night thinking it would help, but it often made her stomach feel worse. She switched to a cube of warm peppermint tea about an hour before bed, and she told me it was like night and day. She was going to bed without that pressure in her stomach, and she was falling asleep more easily and staying asleep longer. One nice thing about peppermint tea is that it's naturally caffeine-free, so it's safe for the evening and it won't trigger a middle-of-the-night bathroom trip the way plain water sometimes. Just remember that if you have acid reflux, peppermint can sometimes relax the muscle between your stomach and esophagus a little too much and make symptoms worse. So if that's something you deal with, you might want to skip this one for everyone else. It's a simple, fragrant, and affordable way to help your body wind down after the day. So if you've been ending your nights with nothing but plain water, give warm peppermint tea a try. You might find that its gentle aroma and digestive support are exactly what you need to make falling asleep not just easier, but far more comfortable. Alright, let's move into the sixth drink you can have instead of plain water at night. And this one is a little less common, but incredibly powerful once you understand what it's doing inside your body. It's warm gelatin or a light bone broth. Now, I know gelatin might make you think of dessert, or bone broth might make you think of a hearty winter soup. But in this context, we're talking about a simple, nutrient-rich warm drink that's easy on your stomach and deeply supportive of sleep. The key here is an amino acid called glycine. Glycine has been studied for its ability to lower your core body temperature, just enough to help your brain know it's time to sleep. It also increases slow-wave sleep. That's the deep restorative phase of the sleep cycle, where your body repairs tissues, strengthens the immune system, and consolidates memories. Glycine has another big benefit for people over 60. It helps support collagen production, which is important for joints, skin, and connective tissues. So you're getting both immediate sleep benefits and long-term health support. If you got the gelatin route, you can use an unflavored powdered gelatin. And made from grass-fed sources, just dissolve about a teaspoon into a cube of warm water or warm milk, stirring until it's completely smooth. You can sip it plain or add a small amount of honey if you want a touch of sweetness. It's light enough that it won't weigh you down before bed, but still provides that glycine boost. If you prefer bone broth, look for a low-sodium version. You're not overloading on salt right before bed. Heat it gently until it's steaming but not boiling, and drink it on its own without adding heavy ingredients. The warmth is soothing and the protein content helps keep your blood sugar steady through the night. I know a man in his early 70s who started drinking a small cup of bone broth about an hour before bed on the advice of his physical therapist, and he told me that within a week his sleep felt deeper and he was waking up with less joint stiffness. He also liked that it was a satisfying way to end the day without feeling overly full. The beauty of this drink is that it works on multiple levels. The glycine helps signal your brain to shift into rest mode. The warmth soothes you physically, and the nutrients quickly auto work repairing and maintaining your body while you sleep. Just a word of caution: if you're using store-bought bone broth, read the label carefully for sodium content and avoid any with added artificial flavors or preservatives. The simpler the better. So if you're looking for something that does more than just help you fall asleep, but actually supports your whole system while you rest, try adding a warm cup of gelatin or light bone broth to your evening routine. It's a small change that can pay off in better sleep quality and better mornings. Alright, let's move into the seventh drink you can have instead of plain water at night. And this one is about as simple as it gets, yet surprisingly effective. It's warm water with honey. Now, a lot of people underestimate honey. They think of it as just a sweetener. But when you use it the right way, especially in the evening, it becomes agentless sleep supporter. Honey is made up of natural sugars, glucose, and fructose, along with small amounts of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. What makes it interesting for sleep is how it interacts with your brain chemistry. When you have a little honey before bed, it causes a slight rise in blood sugar, not enough to spike you, but not to give your brain a steady source of fuel through the night. This steady supply helps prevent those middle-of-the-night drops in blood sugar that can trigger your body to release cortisol, the stress hormone that wakes you up and has you staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning. Honey also promotes the release of serotonin, which your body then converts into melatonin, in the hormone that regulates your sleep-wake cycles. So you're not just getting physical comfort. From a warm drink, you're literally nudging your brain toward producing more of the hormone that tells it to rest. There's how to make it work for you. Heat a cup of water until it's pleasantly warm, but not boiling. You don't want it so hot that it destroys the natural enzymes in the honey. Stir in about a teaspoon of raw, unprocessed honey. Raw honey still contains its full spectrum of beneficial compounds, including antioxidants and trace enzymes. Sip it slowly about 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Ideally while you're doing something calming like reading a book or listening to soft music. I know a woman in her late 60s who swore by this method. She had tried herbal teas and even warm milk, but found that a simple cup of warm honey water was all she needed to stop waking up at night. She said it became such a comforting ritual that her body seemed to know it was bedtime as soon as she took the first sip. On thing to keep in mind is portion control. Too much honey can give you more sugar than you need and might have the opposite effect, so stick with a teaspoon. Maybe two if you're using a larger muggle, so if you're diabetic or need to monitor or your carbohydrate intake, check with your doctor before adding this to your nightly routine. Otherwise, this is one of the easiest, least expensive ways to support better sleep, and it takes less than 2 minutes to prepare. So if you're tired of waking up in the middle of the night, or you just want the way to tell your body, it's time to rest, try ending your evening with a cup of warm honey water. It's simple, it's soothing, and it might be the missing piece between you and a truly restful night. Alright, let's move into the 8th drink you can have instead of plain water at night. And this one is perfect if you want something that not only works from the inside, but also engages your senses in a way that tells your body and mind it's time to relax. It's warm lavender tea. Now, most people think of lavender as something you put in a sachet and essential oil diffuser, but drinking it as a tea is a whole different experience. Lavender contains natural plant compounds like linalool and linalool acetate, which have mild sedative and anxiolytic properties. In plain language, that means they can help reduce anxiety, lower your heart rate, and calm your nervous system, so your body is better prepared for sleep. But what really makes lavender special is how it works through your sense of smell. The aroma of lavender has been shown in multiple studies to influence the limbic system in the brain, which is the area that controls emotions and helps regulate sleep cycles. Just breathing in that scent while you sip the tea can help trigger our relaxation response and reinforce the idea that it's safe to let goof the day. Here's how to make it, You can just ride culinary grade lavender flowers or pre-packaged lavender tea bags. If you have the flowers, measure about 1 teaspoon per cup of water. Bring your water to just under boiling and pour it over the lavender. Steep for about 5 minutes, no more. Or if the flavor can become a little soapy, strain it out, and you're left with a delicate floral tea that's naturally caffeine-free. If you want to add a bit more sweetness, you can stir in a small amount of honey after it cools slightly, which also adds its own sleep-supporting benefits. I know a couple in their 70s who started making lavender tea part of their evening routine. They'd brew a pot about an hour before bed, sit in their living room with the lights low and sip it slowly while talking quietly or listening to soft music. They told me that not only did they fall asleep faster, but their evenings felt more peaceful. Overall, like they were wrapping the day in a calming ritual. One tip to make this even more effective is to focus on the experience. While you drink it, notice the scent, the warmth off the cup in your hands, the way the flavor unfolds in your mouth. The more you connect with the sensory side of it, the more powerful it becomes as a signal to your brain that the day is done and it's time to rest. So if you've only ever thought of lavender as something you smell from a bottle, try it as a warm tea in the evening. It's gentle, it's relaxing, and it might just become your favorite part of winding down for the night. Alright, let's move into the 9th drink you can have instead of plain water at night. And this one is especially helpful if you're the kind of person who often feels chilly in the evening. Sore struggles with cold hands and feet. Once you get into bed, it's warm ginger tea. Now, ginger has been used for centuries in traditional medicine for its warming properties, but modern research shows it's also packed with compounds like gingerols and shogals, which help improve circulation, reduce inflammation, and support digestion, all of which can contribute to better sleep. Here's why that matters so much at night. When your body is able to circulate blood more efficiently, it keeps your extremities warm and helps maintain a stable core temperature. And that's important because a drop in core temperature is one of the signals your brain uses to initiate. The warmth from ginger also soothes tense muscles and promotes relaxation, making it easier to drift off and stay asleep. Another big advantage of ginger tea is how it supports digestion. If you tend to go to bed feeling a little heavy or bloated, that discomfort can keep you from teetotaling. Fully ginger helps stimulate gentle digestive movement and reduce gas, so you're less likely to toss and turn from an upset stomach. Now let's talk about how to prepare it for the best effect. Take a piece of fresh ginger about the size of your thumb, wash it, slice it thin, no need to peel it, unless you want to put the slices into a small pot with about a cup and a half of water. Bring it to a boil. Then lower the heat and let it simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes. This extracts the flavor and the beneficial compounds without making it too sharp torrid. Enjoy your mug, and if I like, you can add a spoon of honey for sweetness or a squeeze of lemon for brightness. Just keep in mind that lemon can be a little stimulating for some people, so if you're sensitive, skip it. I know a man in his late 60s who started drinking ginger tea after dinner, not immediately before bed, but about an hour or two beforehand, and he said it made a big difference. He felt warmer as he got into bed. His feet didn't feel like ice blocks anymore, and he found it easier to relax and fall asleep. Plus, he wasn't waking up with that uncomfortable tightness in his stomach that he sometimes got from late meals. One thing to remember is that ginger can be a bit stimulating for some people if it's too strong, so start with a smaller amount and see how your body responds. The goal is to feel soothed and warmed, not overly energized. So if you've been looking for a drink that not only tastes good, but also helps your body feel physically ready for rest, give warm ginger tea. It's simple, it's natural, and it might just help you slip into a deeper, more comfortable sleep without the midnight shivers, so restless tossing. Alright, let's move into the 10th and final drink you can have instead of plain water at night. And this one is perfect if you want something creamy, satisfying, and plant-based. It's warm oat milk. Now, oat milk has a naturally mild sweetness and a smooth texture that makes it feel comforting without being heavy. And it brings some unique benefits for sleep that make it worth adding to your evening routine. First, oat milk contains complex carbohydrates which help your brain absorb tryptophan more effectively. Tryptophan is the amino acid your body uses to produce serotonin and then melatonin, which regulate your sleep cycle. The gentler is in blood sugar from those complex carbs also helps prevent the dips that can trigger stress hormones in the middle of the night. Oat milk is also a source of beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that supports heart health and steady digestion, which can be especially valuable after 60 when both of those systems can use a little extra care. And us is that oat milk is naturally dairy-free, so it's easy on the stomach for anyone who has trouble digesting lactose, and because it's lighter than cow's milk, won't leave you feeling overly full before bed. Now let's talk about how to make it the most sleep-friendly option you want. An unsweetened variety, preferably fortified with calcium and vitamin D to support bone health. Pour about a cube into a small saucepan and heat it gently over low to medium heat until it's warm but not boiling. The warmth itself is part of the magic because it signals your body that it's time to slow down. If you'd like, you can add a pinch of cinnamon or nutmeg for flavor and a little extra relaxation boost. I know a woman in here, early 70s, who switched from drinking plain water before bed to sipping warm oat milk, and she told me she's falling asleep faster and waking up less during the night. She also said it felt like a small indulgence at the end of the day, a way to take care of herself that was easy and enjoyable. The key with oat milk is to make it part of a wind-down ritual, not something you gulp while doing other things. Pour it into a favorite mug, sit somewhere comfortable, and let those few quiet minutes be the bridge between your day and your nights. So if you're looking for a plant-based drink that's naturally calming, nutrient-rich, and easy to digest, try warm oat milk as your nighttime beverage. It's the way to nourish your body while also telling your mind it's time for deep, restful sleep. Alright, let's wrap this up because because now you've gotten different drinks you can have instead of plain water at night, and each one does something a little different for your body, but they all share the same goal, helping you relax, stay asleep, and wake up feeling more rested. We've talked about golden milk with black pepper for calming stress hormones, warm diluted coconut water for gentle hydration, chamomile tea for soothing the mind, unsweetened almond milk for relaxing muscles, peppermint tea for settling digestion, warm gelatin or light bone broth for deeper restorative sleep, honey water for steady overnight energy, lavender tea for easing tension, ginger tea for improving circulation, and warm oat milk for a plant-based comfort. Each of these is simple to make, easy to find, and can become part of a calming nightly ritual. Daryl's secret isn't just in picking one, it's in making it part of a consistent routine, because your body responds to patterns when you give it the same cues at the same time each night. Whether that's sipping a warm drink, dimming the lights, or turning off screens, you're training your mind and body to shift into rest mode more easily. So my challenge to you is to pick one of these drinks that sounds most appealing and try it night, not just once but for a week. Pay attention to how you feel, not only when you fall asleep, but how you wake up in the morning. If you notice even a small improvement, that's your sign to keep going, and maybe even explore a second drink on the list so you have options for different moods or seasons. And if you do try it, I'd love to hear what happened. Share your experience in the comments, because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to find their own solution. And if you've got a bedtime drink that works for you and it's not on this list, let us know so we can all learn from each other. If you found this video helpful, give it a like so it reaches more people. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the simple, natural tips where each week for better sleep and better health. Here's to a peaceful night tonight and many more to come.